So, when you're in Google Classroom, guys, you will see activity logs. Okay? And of course, you're going to click on this one that says Ginger Seals posted a new assignment. Okay? And once you get in there, go ahead and do this, okay, guys? I need every one of you to bring up your activity log. Okay? When you do that, you can click on that little icon that's up in the right-hand corner. Do not hit the X or you will delete your activity sheet, your activity log, okay? Just click on it and you should, if you've done everything correctly, this is what you will see. You're not picking me up? Okay. All right. Also, too, when you came in today, there's a sheet in there that on one side it says activity logs, do's and don'ts. Okay? This is kind of a little cheat sheet for you when you get home and you can't remember everything that we talked about. These are some very important things. Right? All right. One of the biggest things, guys, that you've got to do, you see on there where it says, I am on pace, yes or no. You have to mark that. If you do not mark it, you will come to tutoring on Tuesday nights to fix it. Okay? Now, one of the suggestions that we have is that if you can't remember that it has to be, it's that important that you have to mark it, you will need, I will go in and highlight this. Okay, that's one of our suggestions and strategies, if you keep forgetting, is that we're going to highlight them. And two, in order to mark yes or no, because if you come back in here and just type in yes, it'll type over this. So go back up to right here, and over here I'll just type yes. Okay? All right. Yes, your parents and you both will need to sign this each week. Okay. One of the things that your parent has to do is make sure that your logs look good. On the bottom of your screen, guys, you see these dates, 8/13, 8/20, 8/27, and on and on. These are all the Friday dates for this 9 weeks. Okay. You will need to do a log for each week. A log will go from Friday to Friday. So when you get to, say, 12 o'clock this Friday, and you need to log and you start working and you need to log that in, you will need to go to the next one, 8/20/21. Okay? The week ends at 11:35 a.m. Everybody get that? All right. And we're going to let you log in some stuff in a few minutes, and we'll do it before you leave again today. The other thing that I want you to notice is you see this gray area? You will see this every week. These are some built-in times. Okay? Do not do anything with those gray areas. When you get ready to start logging in, we're going to come down here to the next row. Let me get back to 8/13. There we go. Okay. Everybody got that? Also, if you scroll down, Well, I'm going down to the end. Here is the thing that has your totals, okay? My totals are a little off because I've been playing with this activity logs, but yours will add up. You'll notice that you have that column out here that already has hours. Those are your built-in times, and we'll talk a little more about what your built-in times are. The other thing not to do on here, guys, is please, if you need to get rid of something that you wrote in that's wrong, incorrect, do not use a delete. The easiest thing to do is just to start typing again in that cell. Because when you do that, it'll just give you what your new item is or whatever, okay? If you hit delete, it's going to mess up the whole worksheet, and you're going to have to get in touch with me, because then I'm going to have to go in and fix it. Because there are formulas in here, and when you hit delete, not only do you take out everything that's in that cell, you take out the formulas. All right? So what button do you never, ever hit? Thank you. The other thing on this thing is you do not have to share, nor do you have to save. All you need to do is go in, type your information, and log out. Okay? It's a live document, which means that you don't share it and you don't save it. It just automatically does all that for you. Okay. Can you all think of anything I've forgotten? We're going to start entering some data. All right, so everybody, we're going to go ahead and log in. Our OW orientation. So in here, you're going to have to put the day of the week. So today's Tuesday. So let's just type in Tuesday. And I want you all to do this because I want you to practice while you're here. You can type in T, you can type in abbreviations for Tuesday or the whole word. It doesn't matter. Okay. Today is 8/10/21. So you can type 8/10/21 or you can type in August the 8th, 2021, and it's automatically going to put it in this format, okay? So when we start talking about your subject and your activity, I want a line for each of your subjects. So let's say today you're going to work on math, English, and you're going to do agri-science, okay? So, and you worked on 2 lessons in math. And so you're working in Algebra 1. So you would type Algebra 1, lessons 1 and 2, okay? I don't need to know the name of those lessons. I don't need it to be very, you don't put your start time for lesson 1 and your end time for lesson 1 and then do it again for lesson 2. You can just give me, when you start Algebra 1, that begin time and the end time that you get finished with it. Okay? So, and then you would drop down and do the same thing for your English class and then the same thing for your agri-science class. So, we're doing OW orientation. And we started at what time? Oh, wait a minute. I can back up a minute. You have 2 columns that you have to put something in. because you have to designate which one it is. Either it's you're working in Odyssey Ware or you're working in Other. That way it'll add up the correct column. So we're not really working in Odyssey Ware right now, are we? So I'm going to mark something, some kind of letter, something in the Other column. Okay. I always like to use X's. You can use A's, you can use B's, it really doesn't matter. Yes. So we started at 12:30. You do have to distinguish whether it's AM or PM. And it doesn't matter if these are capital letters or not. Okay. And we're going to finish in what? We'll come back and fix it in a few minutes if we're wrong later. Let's say it's going to take us, what, an hour and a half to do our orientation? So that would put us at 2 o'clock. Again, you have to distinguish AM or PM. And look, it gave me my hour and a half because I spent time on other academic tasks. If you scroll down again, you will notice that it should be adding up your columns. Well, are we good with that, guys? Everybody got that? So if you put that in, you already had 7.5 hours logged in, another hour and a half. So your total time should be around 9 hours. Okay. Questions? Questions about how I entered this in? We're going to practice some more later. Is everybody good with that? So, if you didn't do your activity log correctly, and they'll be here on Friday, Miss Bollinger will be contacting you, and you will get to come in Tuesdays during tutoring to fix those. All right. Talk about how many hours are you supposed to log in to these activity logs per week. Anybody have any idea? How many? Actually, you are supposed to be working 32.5 hours, but you have some time that's built in. So you have to log 20 hours. All right. Any of you taking an online class? Not online class, an on-campus class. Are you? Yes. So when you take an on, how many are you taking on campus? Just one. So that means that you will end up having to log in 15 hours. Okay? The rest of you are all doing online, right? So you're going to have to log in 20 hours. Now, be very careful. When I say log in 20 hours, you've got to log in at least 20 hours. The first priority is you have to be on pace. So if you work 20 hours and you're not on pace, does that mean you can stop? It means you got to keep going till you're on pace. And if that means, what you need?
Hers is exactly
Is it? I'll fix it. Okay, leave her. You're coming up, but I'll fix yours before you leave, okay? Back, guys, because the number one thing you got to do is be on pace. All right. The other thing is you got to have your 20 hours. So let's say the other thing does is that it takes you 15 hours and you're on pace. Does that mean you get to stop? Nope. You got to come up with something and do something for 5 hours that is approved in order to get those 20 hours. Anything else? I'm trying to remember everything else. So, you got to mark on pace. You got to log 20 hours in addition to what's already there. Make sure that you have filled out your logs correctly. If you have questions about your logs, you need to get in, text me, email me, or get in contact with me, okay? The other thing, if for instance you need extra rows, you all know how to insert a row in a Excel file, but please do not do that. Let me know that you need extra rows and let me do that. Because what happens if for some reason it doesn't do it correctly, the formulas are getting gone. And it will take me less time to give you rows than it is for me to go back and fix all the formulas. Okay? Any questions on these activity logs? I think that's everything. Okay. We're going to practice more on these later because we'll enter some more things. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mr. Hirschberger.